Bookish babes, welcome back to my channel. My name's Marissa, and for today's video we are going over my April, May, June TBR. To choose my hopefuls for my TBR, I am going to do a couple different ways of choosing. To start off, I'm going to do a number generator for my physical TBR on Goodreads. I have an actual shelf that says physical TBR, meaning all of the books that I haven't read that are on my bookshelves. And I am going to do a number generator to pick a number and then pick from date added on for the number of books I have, and I have to go up to 244 for the number generator. I believe I'm gonna pick 20 books again because that will give me a very wide variety of books to choose from. I also want to let you know that I have my April and May books chosen for my in-person book club. For April, Happy Place by Emily Henry, and for May, The Summer Pact by Emily Giffen. I believe that's how you say her name. But in June, we are not picking a read for that month for either book club. We are taking a break from them because I have my bachelorette party the weekend we would probably be meeting. So those are the only books for that book club. And then I do know for my Bookish Babes book club, we will be reading One Dark Window, Two Twisted Crowns, by both of those by Rachel Gillig. And I think we're gonna start the Off to the Races series, the first series she ever wrote. And I'm only counting the in-person book clubs as books that I'm finishing in April and May, because the Bookish Babes book club, we don't necessarily finish a whole book in a month. We don't have a goal to do that. So those are just some other books I will be reading in the span of the next 3 months. Okay, to start off, I have a number generator from 1 to 244. Let's see what it chooses. 54. So if 54 on my physical TBR is a series, I will start with the first one if I haven't read it, or I will continue that series with the next book instead of the actual book that it ends up being. Number 54 on my bookshelf is Wicked Beauty by Katie Robert. Turns out I have this Nixon series. I have read Neon Gods and Electric Idol, loved both of them. I am so interested to continue the series. Katie Robert is so easy with her writing, and she throws books out like crazy. And this Dark Olympus series has, I believe, 10 books in the series. I have right now 6 of them on my shelf, even though this is the next one I need to read. So this says, she was never ours to claim. In Olympus, you either have the power to rule or you are ruled. Achilles may have been born with nothing, but as a child he vowed he would claw his way into the poisonous city's inner circle. Now that a coveted role has opened to anyone with the strength to claim it, he and his partner, Patroclus, plan to compete and double their odds of winning. Neither expect infamous beauty Helen Cassios to be part of the prize, or the complicated fire that burns the moment she looks their way. I'm not going to read any more of it because I don't know if this will spoil either the first or second book, but this is the first book in our hopefuls for our TBR. The second book is going to be number 91. That one is the next book in the Little House on the Prairie series, which is Farmer Boy. I'm so excited to read this. I don't know if I'll read it physically or if I'll listen to it, dependent on if Libby has the book or if I can find the book for free anywhere as an audiobook. I don't pay for audiobooks. So that is the second book for our TBR. Book number 3 is going to be 114. Caravel by Stephanie Garber. I have been wanting to pick this series up for so long. I know it's young adult, so it should be really easy, but I am so excited because my bestie Abby has read this trilogy and she said it was so quick and she absolutely loved it. And now she's on to the spin-off of Once Upon a Broken Heart. So I can't wait to get to this. On to book number 4. That is 138. That would be a book from my 25 books of 2025. Curvy Girl Summer by Danielle Allen. I told you guys in my 25 books of 2025 how excited I am to read this book because of the fact that she's a curvy girl and I also am, so I love the representation in books, especially in love stories, because most of the time the male character doesn't make her feel bad for how she is physically. Book number 5, I got 91 again, which means that I'm going to read Farmer's Boy, which I've already chosen. And I think we'll take this as a sign to read Little House on the Prairie. Both of these are so short and they have illustrations because they are for younger children, but I have wanted to get through this series for a while now, so I am stoked to continue on after Farmer's Boy and read this one as well. Now that we are up to 5 books so far, I am going to pick a book from my 12 books suggested by friends because I have not done a very good job at making sure I'm reading the books on my Rainbow Challenge, on my 25 books of 2025, and my 12 suggested. So we are going to go and pick one from 12 suggested from the number generator as well, and I'm just going to go left to right all the way down the page and pick dependent on the number generator. So we're going to change this to 12, 1 to 12. These are the books I have: Mile High, Vampires of El Norte, Things We Never Got Over, Hotel Magnifique, The Naturals, Hidden Pictures, the Mind F series, How to Be an Adult in Relationships. Twisted Love is going to be counted out because I already read that one. She's Not There by PJ Parrish, Haunting Adeline, and The Great Alone. So let's see what number gets chosen. 5. Looks like I will be reading The Naturals. And I am really excited about this one. I heard this goes so fast. And it is like, these kids are super intelligent and they have like unusual gifts to be able to solve cold cases. So another series that I'm starting, but I cannot wait. Now, I know we already have a book decided by the number generator from my 25 books of 2025, but we are going to do the same thing that I just did with the 12 books suggested and do that with my 25 books of 2025 because I need to start getting these challenges finished. I really want to be able to say that I accomplished some of these challenges this year. So let's change this to 25 and we'll generate number 18. All right, looks like that is another series, standalone series that I'm starting. The Dark King by Gina L. Maxwell is my next pick. So we are now up to 7 books on the TBR. I know that I have the 2 books from my in-person book club, but I'm not going to include them in this TBR because those are books that I already have to read. So we're just going to pick 20 books from my shelves. Let's go on to another one. Back to my 244 books on my physical TBR list on Goodreads. Book number 8 is going to be number 27. And that is The Duke and I by Julia Quinn, which is the first of the Bridgerton series. I have had a couple people on BookTube, as well as a couple friends who have now read this and said it's so good. So I'm actually really excited to read this now. I mean, I've seen the series so far, the first 3 seasons on Queen Charlotte, but I don't really like to pick up these small paperbacks. They're not very appealing to me to read, but I cannot wait to read this. On to book number 9. Again, out of 244, the generator saying 108. The 9th book is The Fallen by Thomas E. Sniegoski. I could be saying that wrong. But this one says, on his 18th birthday, Aaron begins to hear strange noises and is convinced he is going insane. By having moved from foster home to foster home, Aaron doesn't know whom he can trust. He wants to confide in the cute girl from class, but fears she'll confirm he's crazy. Then a mysterious man begins following Aaron. He knows about Aaron's troubled past and his new powers, and he has a message for Aaron as the son of a mortal and an angel. Aaron has been chosen to redeem the fallen. Aaron tries to dismiss the news and resists his supernatural abilities, but he must accept his newfound heritage and quickly, for the dark powers are gaining strength and are hell-bent on destroying him. I found this whole series at a thrift store, and I just bought it on a whim. So this is number 9. Number 10 is going to be 243. 243 is Dom and Becca by Willow Winters. I just got 1 through 5 of this Discreet series by Willow Winters from Goodwill. This is the only one that's in not the best condition, but this is a mafia romance. I don't know much about it because, again, it's discreet, but I know that the original book is called Dirty Dom. Oh, here is the synopsis. I'm not always proud of the man I am, but when you grow up in a crime family, there aren't a lot of options. I do what I have to do, and more than often, I crave it. The power, the women, the money. All of it comes easy to me. Until Becca walked into my office. Everything about her was tempting. Her beautiful eyes that pierced into me. Her body that was made for sin. She came to pay off a debt, but I wanted more, so I did what I've always done. I took what I wanted. She's a good girl who never should have walked through that door. I never should have touched her, but now that I have, I can't stop. I'll push her boundaries. She'll cave to temptation. We'll both forget about the danger, and that's a mistake I can't afford. So this is number 10 in our TBR. Now we are going to do another one of the challenges in my book journal, which is my rainbow challenge. There's 6. Number 4. This time is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I just put the naturals on here. Now I get to put Inheritance Games, and this is also one of my 25 books of 2025. So we are doing things with those books from 25 books. We are next gonna do another thing I've been keeping in my journal, and that's my series tracker. I have to add 2 more. I have to add Outlander and The Cat and Mouse Duet in here. And for the sake of this number generator, we are going to keep the Little House on the Prairie series out of it, since we already have 2 books of that series. So I am going to add in 2 more from this, meaning we have 14 series. We'll do 1 to 14 and see what it gives me. I'm going to count down for this one. Okay, book number 12 is going to be 13. For book number 14, I had the number generator and it said 39. Of course, my video stopped recording, so we're just letting you know. This is book number 14 on the TBR this month. 39th in the list. And then we had 98, which is Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell, which is one that's been on my shelf for a really long time. And this one was number 98 on my physical TBR list. I think I'm gonna pick one more book from my 12 books suggested from friends, because I haven't read a lot of those yet and I need to get through them. And then we're going to do the number generator for the books that I have downloaded, not from Kindle Unlimited, but completely downloaded to my Kindle on that digital library. I have 197 of those, so I'm going to pick one more of the 12 suggested from friends, and then we'll pick more books, and those will all be on my Kindle that are already downloaded. Okay, book number 16 is going to be Mile High by Liz Tomforty. I am very nervous. This is going to be my first sports romance. I have not read any. Minus Powerless from Elsie Silver. I did read that one, but this is like full-on sports romance. And I did buy the whole series as of right now that's out. So I have them in the indie covers because I'm sorry, but I think these are the better covers out of them. And what's really cool is that in the cover and on the back, it has Mile High in cursive all the way through, very lightly, that you wouldn't know unless you saw it up close. So this one, if you don't know, if you are not familiar with it, is a sports romance between Xanders and Stevie, and I'll read the back to you. Chicago hockey isn't complete without me. Everyone's favorite player to hate. I know my role and I play it well. In fact, I thoroughly enjoy spending the majority of my game time in the penalty box before leaving the arena with a new girl on my arm each night. Stevie. I've been a flight attendant for years. I thought I'd see it all, but when my new job lands me on board working for the most egotistical and self-righteous diva in the NHL, I start to second guess everything, including the promise I made to myself of never hooking up with an athlete again, no matter how annoyingly tempting he may be. Even Xanders is unfiltered, unapologetic, and too attractive for his own good. He loves his image, but I hate everything about it. Everything but him. So I'm so excited. The margins are very short, but this is also on Kindle Unlimited if I would like to read it on my Kindle. But this book's so pretty. I feel like I've been in my physical book reading era. Sometimes I just want to read a physical book and not on my Kindle. So this is number 16. Again, I have 197 books downloaded on my Kindle. So we are going to see what my number generator says, because I have them all in another list on my Goodreads as Kindle TBR. Okay. Number generator is on 1 to 197. Number 65. Forsaken Mate. This one is the first book in Shifted Fates book 1. So that will be number 17. Let's go back to the number generator and see what 18 is going to be. Book number 18 is going to be number 135. Kingdoms of Shadow and Ash by H.R. Moore. I will read the synopsis for you. This is also Shadow and Ash book number 1, Legend states that a ruler worthy of the name reunites the 5 kingdoms. The dragons will return. Fia has done just that, and now she wants her dragons. But the dragon eggs are missing. Her 5 war-ravaged kingdoms are unhappy bedfellows and calls for her to marry grow ever louder. The king of the reclusive Black Hoods can't afford to dream of dragons. His kingdom is a frozen wasteland, and his people's prosperity rests on the trade of a single prized item. So when Fia brazenly walks into his lands, the last thing he plans to do is help her. In fact, he plans to bring her down a peg or two. But Fia hasn't come this far by taking no for an answer, and she seeks the dragon egg anyways, leaving the king with little choice but to follow her into the frozen, barren north. Soon she's wondering what secrets lie behind his brooding gaze, but their quest becomes dangerous, entwining them in a plot that threatens to strip away everything she's worked so hard for. The king proposes a solution, one he sees as obvious, but for Fia, it means embracing the one thing she swore she'd never have. It does say, action-packed from the start with twists, intrigue, and dangerous politics. Kingdoms of Shadow and Ash is a sexy new fantasy series perfect for fans of Jennifer L. Armentrout, Sarah J. Maas, and Danielle Jensen. Instead of picking the last 2 books from my generator, and instead of choosing from my Kindle library, because my Kindle library, I forgot, is full of a lot of fantasy, and I cannot read more than one of those at a time, and I typically read more than 1 book at a time. So I had my fiance come down and pick 2 books off of my bookshelf, and I told him he could pick from any of the bookshelves. He picked 2. So the first one he wants me to read is Pen Pal by J.T. Geisinger. I know nothing about this. I know it's a dark romance, I believe, but other than that, I don't know anything about it. I know that people like it, and I know I wish that I would have gotten the sprayed edged one just because it's pretty, but if I don't like it, I won't keep it. So this is the 19th book on our TBR, and number 20 is a book I got out in Colorado when we went to the fantasy ball for ACOTAR. I bought this from one of the vendors there. It says Among the Fated, Book 1, Between Silence and Shadow by T.J. Knight. This is one of my prized possessions. It is signed by the author, and I don't know much about this, but I will read the back of it for you so that if you would like to purchase it, I believe all of the vendors that I bought books from out there also have their books on Amazon. So this says, 3 forgotten spirits, 2 kingdoms on the edge of war, 1 law of silence. In a realm where magic has faded into legend, secrets lurk in the darkest corners, while destiny unfurls its ancient threads. Ren yearns for freedom from the towering walls that imprison her, but when she's coerced into spying for her enemies, she's thrust into a perilous game of bravery, passion, and betrayal. Alongside enigmatic strangers, Jareth, a hidden warrior seeking a noble cause, and a cloaked assassin whose identity is as exclusive as the very shadows he commands, their paths intertwine amidst treacherous lands where alliances shift and new enemies rise. Ren's world shatters when her deepest secret is uncovered. Forced to marry her bitter rival to prevent war, she becomes entangled in a web of deceit and danger where every move could mean her downfall and jeopardize those she has sworn to protect. As tensions escalate and fates collide, each must make a choice that could alter the course of kingdoms, follow one's desires, or fulfill one's duty bound by blood. The law of silence has been broken. The consequences could mean disaster for all. So these are the books we have, the last books we have for our Q2 TBR. Okay, so here are all the books on my physical bookshelves, and then I'm gonna put right now the 2 books that I have on my Kindle because I'm not going to remember them than I have on my TBR this quarter. So I know there's Forsaken Mates and I think Kingdom of Shadow and Ash, but here are those 2 books. And then we have Mile High, Twisted Games, Then She Was Gone, Pen Pal, Between Silence and Shadow, Wicked Beauty, Farmer Boy, Caravel, Curvy Girl Summer, Little House on the Prairie, The Naturals, The Dark King, The Duke and I, The Fallen, Dom and Becca, which is Dirty Dom in the Discreet series, The Inheritance Games, and Seventh Heaven. Please let me know if you've read any of these books or the 2 that I have on my Kindle, and if you did, if you enjoyed them, what you didn't like about them, and all of that, because I would love to know what everybody thinks about their books that they read. I will always be very honest about how I feel about a book, no matter what. And I will not bash an author, just be very honest about how I feel about a book, whether it made me feel good, sad, if it was really boring and I wouldn't suggest it. So please let me know what you thought if you've read any of these books. Please let me know if there's one of these specific books that I need to get to immediately, and I will try my best to do so. But thank you so much for making it to this point in the video. I really appreciate everybody watching. Making videos on here really just gives me so much joy, and I just love doing something that is I'm very passionate about. So please let me know what you think. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye!